Good evening, all. So far, we were discussing about uh, renewable energy sources, different types of energy, renewable energy sources, and their comparison. So, next topic in this module is the general idea regarding non-renewable energy sources. So, we shall see what is the principle behind non-renewable energy sources in order to generate electricity and their advantages as well as disadvantages. Non-renewable energy sources are depleting in nature. They are conventional energy sources and they cannot be replenished on a fast rate. Then, the main types of non-renewable energy sources are fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are of different kind. Solid type is there. Coal is an example for that. Liquid type, petroleum products are liquid type fossil fuels. Then gaseous type, natural gas is an example for gaseous type fossil fuel. All these are used for generally in bulk power electricity generation. Next is nuclear fuel. Nuclear fuel can also be used for bulk production of electricity. Then hydropower, large hydroelectric power plants, even though they are partially renewable, they can also be considered under conventional energy resources. So these are the main conventional energy sources where we discuss the principle of operation and their advantages as well as disadvantages during this sessions. First of all, we shall see liquid type fossil fuels. The petroleum, oil, is obtained from wells under the earth's crust. Crude oil is a smelly yellow to black liquid and is usually found in underground areas called oil reserves or reservoirs. It is originated from organic matter like plant life, fish, etc. by bacterial action or by their distillation under pressure and heat. So oil is a liquid type fossil fuel. So generally the oil is referred as petroleum. We'll distill the petroleum and obtain various types of other fuels from petroleum like diesel, petrol, kerosene, etc. Then oil consists of a mixture of gases, liquids and solid hydrocarbons. They will be separated after the distillation process of petroleum. So you can see the distillation process part by part. So at various stages of distillation, various elements are being liberated and has got their own purposes. Then petroleum and natural gas are formed in a similar way. They are formed or the formation started around 300 to 400 million years ago. Tiny sea plants as well as animals died, were buried in the ocean floor. After time passes by, they were covered with layers of silt and sand. Then over the millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The enormous heat and pressure turned them into oil and gas. Today we are drilling down through layers of sand, silt and rock to reach the rock formations that contain oil and gas deposits. As compared to solid fuels like coal, the liquid fuel has the following advantages. It requires less space for storage. Then liquid type fossil fuel has got high calorific value. Easy control over consumption. Then no ash problem. By burning of coal, around 10 to 20% of coal contains ash. So while we burn coal, there will be so much ash production and we have to manage that ash since it is a waste or byproduct of burning. But in the case of burning of liquid fuel, there is no ash problem. Then it is more cleaner method of burning compared to fossil solid fossil fuels. Okay, these are the main advantages of liquid fuel over solid fuel. Next is the advantages of oil in general. It is easy to produce and transport. Then it has got high energy output. Then the disadvantages are it is non-renewable as it is applicable to any type of fossil fuel. Then it is region specific. It is available on certain reserves in certain regions. Then it may run out. It is depleting in nature. Environmental damage from oil spills. Usually oil is transported through sea. When we are transporting it through oil tankers as well as through ship, this oil may spill out and causes environmental issues. Then it is a greenhouse gas producer while it burns, mainly carbon dioxide. So these are the pros and cons of oil type fossil fuel. Next is natural gas. Main ingredient in natural gas is methane, a gas or compound composed of one carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. It has calorific value nearly 21,000 kilojoules per meter cube. Natural gases used alternately or simultaneously with oil for internal combustion engines. Then natural gas is also formed in the same way as that of oil. So tiny sea plants and animals were buried on the ocean floor so many years back, millions of years back. As the time passes by, they were covered under the layers of silt and sand. Over millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The enormous heat and pressure turned them into oil and gas. Now we are drilling out the layers of sand, rock, etc. to reach the rock formations and that contain oil and gas deposits. Now the main features of oil, gaseous type fossil fuel is that it has got better control over combustion. Less air is needed for complete combustion. Then it is the most clean form of burning among fossil fuels. It has got more efficiency compared to other types of fossil fuels. These are the main features or advantages of gas. Then pros, it is abundant in nature. Then it produces lesser greenhouse gases, so lesser impact on environment compared to coal as well as oil. And cons are expensive to transport. Since it is highly inflammable, proper safety measures should be taken for transportation. Then it is a greenhouse gas producer anyway, even though it produces lesser greenhouse gas compared to coal or oil. Just like other fossil fuels, it is non-renewable in nature, it cannot be replenished. Many of the areas that are now being explored and developed for natural gas production are forest areas and hence have large impacts on the area's environment and wildlife population. So it has got some environmental impact for its excavation. Then last one is the solid type fossil fuel, that is coal. A combustible black or brownish black sedimentary rock composed mainly of carbon and hydrocarbons. The energy in coal comes from the energy stored by plants that lived hundreds of millions of years ago. Its main constituents are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, moisture, and ash. Then coal was formed from giant plants millions of years ago. They were buried under again silt and sand. Then due to high heat and pressure, these plants and animal parts were turned into coal. Now the pros, it is abundant, it has got high energy output. And the cons are, it is non-renewable, it takes millions of years to form. So it is not easily replenishable. It takes lot of time to form again. Then extraction is destructive to environment. Then it is the highest greenhouse gas producer among all the fossil fuel types. So these are the main types of non-renewable energy sources under the category of fossil fuels. So in the next session, we shall see the general principle of nuclear energy and its advantages as well as disadvantages will be discussed. So thank you for listening. We shall stop this session here.